My name's Linda Barker and this is Poppy and she's a Cockapoo, and today we're going to put her into a relatively short, what we call teddy bear trim. It's just purely for ease of maintenance at home for the owner that we take the length that we're going to today, but it's really up to you what sort of length that you leave them and what suits the owner and the dog. To do this particular trim, I'm going to use the Wall Moser switchblade clipper, and I'm going to be using the peach comb attachment, or also it's called number 4, which snaps onto the back of either a 10 blade or 15 blade. Stand up. Generally start at the top of the back of the head, top of the neck, and just run it down the body like so, following the way that the coat lies. Just stand up for me. Good girl. You tend to see a lot more Cockapoos and doodle crosses in the salon in the last year to 18 months. Numbers have increased dramatically. So it's trying to find something that's a suitable length for your customer to maintain at home, and also something that's going to last in between trims. I've actually chosen the peach comb attachment, or the number 4, purely for it's just an easy maintainable length, but you can actually use any of the different sizes that the comb attachments come with. The longer you leave it, the harder it is obviously to maintain at home for the owner, and we tend to find that it's all about ease of maintenance at home with this particular crossbreed, because they do tend to come in very knotty and tangly if they're left to be very long. There we go. Keep running the clippers backwards over the coat, over the same area. You'll get a neater, even finish. Okay, head up then. Good girl. You often have to clear the back of the comb attachment in between, get rid of some of the hair that sometimes blocks it, and then just put it back on again, snap it back on. Head up, good girl. The more you go over the same area, the neater it will become. You do tend to find the longer you leave it, in means of the comb attachment, you sometimes do have to go over it with a pair of scissors afterwards. It will reduce the length, but it won't come quite as neat as it does with some of the shorter sizes. So sometimes it will need to be re-scissored. But you generally, if you choose a number 4 or number 5, that's generally a nice short length and doesn't need any extra trimming up afterwards. Good girl. When you get to the top of the front legs, you just generally comb it down and not going deep into the leg itself, just combing outwards as you hit the top of the leg. So it's nicely blended, so you haven't got a lot of work again with scissoring when you come to scissor the leg in. Lift the front leg up and just clear out into here. Point to be careful of is just the armpit area that you don't catch, and sometimes it's easier to do with a pair of scissors just to finish tidying around there. Okay. Right, and you do exactly the same the other side. Hold the head and ears up, just to give base. So you can give the dog a neck, and expose the neck, and just leave the head hair. Enough head hair to create a nice round head afterwards. Again, as you get to the front legs, just gradually, don't let the clippers go in deep. Just gradually scoop out as you get to the top. And when you get down to the bottom end, you again scoop it out, but run it off the top of the back leg, and also we run it down the back of the back leg as well. It just gives you the start of the shape of the leg for when you're scissoring. Just shows the dog's angulation and gives you an easier line to work to. And again, just run it off. Run it down slightly, but not going in too deep with the clipper. But you do go in deep, you do follow the shape of the dog in the back, right at the back here, where the angulation is. And same the other side. And then lift up the back leg, and again run the clipper down front in the line of the dog, just to remove some of the excess hairs on the inside of the back legs. And then the other side, do the same thing. And then just before you can say the body's finished, just run your comb over the body slightly, comb in the opposite way, and just have one more go, clipping the body. So if it brings out any loose ends that you can take off. And again, just go over the body again, just remove the excess that comes off. And that hopefully should be her body all done. And just leave the head and the legs to do. Right, once you've finished doing the body, it's easier to clear your table of all the hair that's come off. So you then got a clear table to work on when you start doing the feet. Right, before I start doing the feet themselves, I usually like to clear the pads. And to clear the pads, I usually use the small little Brav Mini, which is ideal for doing this area. of clearing out on the inside of here. It's very light and easy to use, and it's absolutely ideal for doing small areas right in between the toes and on the feet. And gives you a good start when it comes to the feet. A clear area to work with. And the front foot exactly the same. When you pick the feet up, the dog has got quite a bit of bend down by the ankle, so if you lift the leg up and then bend the foot back, it's quite a flexible joint, and the dog will be able to show you the base of its foot without much effort. So you're able to do the feet quite comfortably for the dog and also for yourself. Now you've got a nice clean foot before you start your scissoring. The other area which is quite a good area to use this clip on is the groin area, which you get a lot of excess hair and also can get quite tangly and matted around here. So very gently just clear away all the excess hair under here. If you've got a very sensitive dog and this is perhaps a little too short for you, then I would suggest you use the switchblade clipper with perhaps the 7F blade on it, which obviously won't take it quite as short as what we're doing here. But I know Poppy's okay with this particular braid because it's what we usually use on her all the time. Got a nice clean groin area there to work with. Right, once the pads have all been cleared and the groin's been cleared, again clear your table so you've got a nice area to work on to start doing your foot. I always generally start around the base of the foot, comb all the hair out, and for that I use what we call a big poodle comb, which lifts and pulls the hair out into position for when you're scissoring. The teeth are a lot wider than a normal average groom through comb, which it's not suitable for, but this is purely just for scissoring and combing through. So once you've combed it all out, lift the foot up with your scissors, just clear the hair that's over the pad. Right, once you've cleared your foot, put your foot back down again. Comb all your hair out and then just scissor around your foot. Like so, if you want to create a nice, tight, cat-like foot. Again, comb it through. when you're doing this sort of work, your comb is just as important as your scissors, because it works alongside your scissors in pulling out the hair and showing you what needs to come off. Just trim off any excess that you can pull out. Once you've got your shape around your foot, tend to pull up all the leg hair so you can see what you've got and where you've got it. And then starting from the top, starting where you ran your clipper off, just blend in the excess hair that's sticking out, following the shape of the top of the dog's back leg. I think it's important to give the dog an angulated shape here and not to leave it too thick and heavy around the top of the leg, because it doesn't balance the leg as well as if you take out this shape here. And it's always easy to take out that shape first. You can see what shape you're trimming to and then work from there. Now the length you actually leave it is really depends on what length you've done the body and also what suits the dog and the client. The longer you leave it, obviously, the more maintenance it is for dog and owner. And due to the weather that we have in the UK, you usually end up going on very wet, muddy walks. So hence the leg furnishings get very muddy. And I know most of our clients tell us that they come home from a walk, sit the dog's legs through the shower and then rub them dry with a towel, which when you've got this sort of coat really doesn't help with the maintenance of it and keeping it not free. So tend not to leave leg hair and tend to keep actually the whole of the body quite short and the leg hair just slightly longer, because if it's too much hair it will just mat up, which is often the case, and they usually have to be shaved, which is not really where we want to go with it. Again, keep combing up to see what you've got and just blend it in. With all the doodle crosses that we see come through, and there is quite a variety that we do see now, there's actually no breed standards obviously to follow in the way of trimming, so it's been a sort of trial and error, and obviously what works best for you and the client, we tend to be the way to go with dealing with these types of coats that we see so much of now. The Cockapoo on the whole tends to be a very fine textured coat, whereas the Labradoodle can be more woolly. The Labradoodle tends to be more extreme. You tend to find sometimes you have very woolly or very loose coat, or even a coat that molts, where the Cockapoo on the whole tends to be a very soft, fine coat. It's also a coat that mats extremely easily, and some of our customers were seeing anything sort of every 4 weeks, but due to the point that it gets matted so easily, they've ended up having them shaved. We found the only way to sort of maintain them with any sort of lengthy coat is by having them in that often. But as it is, I say, they genuinely are always a very, very fine textured coat. You do occasionally get a very woolly one, which would be ideal for doing grooming competitions and things like that with. But Poppy here is more of the average of what we normally see come through the salon on a regular basis. Again, the whole time you're trimming the leg, keep combing up. And obviously the woollier the coat, the easier it is to trim. This is quite a fine textured coat, so it is a slightly harder trim in respect of leaving. It's easier to leave scissor marks in a coat like this. But if you take off a little at a time, keep working your way down, reducing the length gradually, you should maintain quite a good finish. Here we've taken it slightly shorter and just gradually trim the coat, leaving it slightly longer, following the natural angulation of the dog. And when you come to do the inside of the leg, again lift the opposite leg up, pull the hair out, and then if it's a slightly more woolly coat, you'd tend to find it would stand up a bit better on its own accord, where this you have to tend to use the comb a lot more to lift it and move it into place, and it will eventually drop down again and find its own position. Stand up, good girl. And again, like the clippers, just keep running your comb over it and take off any extra ends that you can see sticking out, until you end up with a nice finish. And that hopefully should be Poppy's back leg done. As I said, with the Cockapoos, they do tend to mat very easily, and if they're not maintained, groomed through, got mats and tangles, and dealt with at home, by the time they come into you, this is what we often see. They've gone to a point where it's not particularly long, but it's not been brushed, or it's either been washed regularly at home and rubbed dry with a towel, and you have actually got a felted dog and coat, which generally has to come off because there's no way you're going to brush through that. So that's why it's important to sort of go through grooming guidelines with your owners to make sure they have got the correct equipment at home to deal with the type of coat that they've got on their pet. And now turn the dog round and do exactly the same on the other side. Once you've finished doing the back legs, next area to do is just trim around the bottom area, which is quite a good idea to keep relatively short, so it can get quite messy. Again, comb up, see if you've got any excess hair coming out, just trim off. Next area we're going to do is the front legs. Again, just like we do the back legs, lift the foot up, and bend the foot back, and then just trim off the excess hair that you can see around the foot. And again, you want the foot to resemble a nice, neat cat-like foot. Once you've done that, put the foot down. Good girl. Again, comb the hair out, and then just trim around the base of the foot to give yourself a starting point before trimming the actual foot itself and the leg itself. Again, I will also lift up again, have a look, see what's sticking out. When you have got the foot up and you do trim, careful not to go in too deep, because once you can make a mistake by going in too deep, then when you put your foot down you realise you've got hair missing where you actually need it. So if you're unsure, put the foot down and then comb the hair out and then scissor around with your foot on the floor. And when you get a bit more experience, then you realise what hair needs to sort of come off when you've got the foot up in the air. Once you've got a nice round foot, comb the coat up like we did on the back legs. And then with the front legs, I tend to start from the bottom. You're creating a tubular shaped front leg, and just work your way up and blend into the body hair. Again, use your comb to show you what you need to come off. Graduate your way around your leg, just creating a nice, neat, tubular front leg. An area where some people do go wrong when they're doing the front legs is by taking them in too short in here. If you take it too short in there, it looks like the dog is wearing boots on his front legs. So comb the hair up, and you really want to scissor in a straight line up without it dipping in at the front round by the top of the toes, so you don't create a boot effect on the front leg. And also blending where the body hair meets the top of the front leg, so it's a nice gradual line into the front leg. And again, lift up the other front leg to do the inside. Just have a quick comb, see what excess hair you've got sticking up, and just take off the ends. So we said earlier, it hasn't quite got the hold that a more of a poodly type coat would have. So you have got quite a lot of softness there, so it does tend to fall and find its own position, especially on the legs where it's slightly longer, the hair. So that's why it's important you use your comb to lift it back into position, scissor it while it's in position, and let it just fall to its natural shape and natural way the coat's going to lie. And that should be your front leg done. And turn the dog round and do exactly the same on the other side. Right, once you've done the front legs, then just tidy up the tail. Don't take a lot off the tail. We don't need to on Poppy anyway. Just blend it in at the base of the tail. Lift it up. Just very lightly blend it in. Hold it all together and take the top out. Good girl, stand up. And with a towel like this, just lightly flag it, just so it's not too long. That should be her tail done. Right, the last part to finish on her is top of her head, or her head. To do that, I've used the peach comb attachment, which is number 4. For doing the head, generally go up 2 sizes. So I'll be looking for the number 6, which is the light purple. And again, just snap it on the back of your blade, and then set ready to do the head. Stand up, good girl. Now start from the back, combing it forward, just reducing the length down. Working out where her ears are. And then from the front, working back. Running it down the back of the neck. And again, just keep working this all different ways to get a nice even length. The more you do with the clipper, the less you have to do scissoring. Just makes it easier. Once you've done the top of the head, lift the ear up and run it slightly down the side of the cheeks to take out the bulkiness at the side of the face, which is also another area that gets matted easily. And again, that side again, down the side of the cheeks. And then Poppy's also got quite long leathers, but we tend to trim the hair to the shape of the ear itself, so we take the hair off run the comb attachment down the ear as well. Pick up, Lolly. Good girl. Hold the ear over, take off any excess on the inside. Oh, Poppy, let me see. Good girl. Right, once you've clipped one side of the head, obviously you do exactly the same on the other side. So you've got an even clipped head. Give it a good comb through to see what needs to come off. Then generally the first place I tend to clear is round by the eyes and across the bridge of the nose. Comb the hair forward so the dog will be able to see. As Poppy's mum has actually requested that we keep her eyelashes on, so at this point you have to be very careful in maintaining her eyelashes from the rest of her coat. Comb that forward. Generally just comb forward what sticks out. Again, the other side, I just have to watch I don't cut her eyelashes again. Into the dark coloured hairs. And I've got them, comb forward the hair and literally just clear the top of the eye. taking care when you trim around the corners of the eye, but it's also an area that also does need to be cleared because it stops a build up of anything horrible there. Right, once you cleared the front of the head, I tend to jump to the back of the head and start blending in where it meets the neck. You've got a nice evenly blended line. And that should just roll nicely down off into the top of the ears. And I tend to lift the ear up. You've got the side of the face and the cheeks. Comb the excess hair up. And just reduce that down. If you leave it too thick and too heavy underneath the ears, you will tend to find the dog will come back in matted next time round. Again, do the same thing the other side. The hair up. Reduce down the length there. Head up, darling. Good girl. And then you can start doing the underneath of your head. Comb down what you've got. Start underneath here and reduce the length. Also working your way up into the sides as well, into the sides of your head. Slightly rounding it. Again, the other side. Lift the hair. Again, blend into the head. And from the side profile view, head up, darling. Good girl. Right, once you've done that side, do the other side the same. And you're trying to create a nice shape and style of hair, but again, not leaving it too long, because I say from experience of what we've seen, they do get extremely knotty extremely quickly if it's too long. Once you've done her face, you then got her ears to do. And generally just tidy around the outside of the ear, following the ear, the natural shape of the ear itself. I think it must be due to the fact she's been crossed with a Cocker Spaniel that she's got extremely large ears. As you're doing this, have your thumb following the natural shape of the ear, so then you know you're not going to be cutting the ear when you're working so close. Right, you do exactly the same thing on the other side. Right, and this is Poppy now finished. As you see, she's relatively short, but also looks quite neat and it's an acceptable trim maintenance-wise for the owner to maintain at home, and it should last about 6 weeks before coming back in to the salon again to be redone. With the leg, body hair is not too bad because it's relatively short. The leg furnishings obviously still need regular brushing at home, so they still remain knot free. Same with the head. Anywhere there's any length of hair, it will need to maintenance will still need to be maintained with regular brushing and combing with suitable brushes and combs.